Hello, for gaming community and Beyblade community as a whole. We're back again for another podcast. Have a very special guest this time around, my friend Blader07. It's really big in the NC community. I believe the top ranked blader right now in the NC community. I've shouted him out before. He's come to a lot of our tournaments. Much love to him. His mom and dad that bring him to a lot of the events. We have him up here to get to know you and the community to get to know you and anything that you want to share. I do have a few announcements. For one, we do have a giveaway going on for Beyblade X. It's to join our Discord server. It's mainly a promotion for our Discord server because we don't really talk that much in there. So I wanted to get more people so we can have a little bit more communication. There was another giveaway that was going on. It's kind of ended. It was on Instagram. For pictures and things like that. And probably a little bit later I can get in the challenger, or we could talk about that event at another date. There's other YouTube videos that you all can check that out on. But without further ado, hey Fireblader, welcome. Mike's up here too. And go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, so as you know, he said I'm Fireblader. I started Beyblade around 5 to 6 years ago. And yeah.
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 Solid, man, solid. What got you into Beyblade initially?
So I was just playing around in a Chick-fil-A, and I saw these kids playing with tops, and they're playing with Hasbro Beyblades, and I was like, those look really cool. So and that same day I went to Walmart and I found some Hasbro Beyblades. So I started playing with them in like a bowl, and then it went from there.
Solid, man. I know. When did you get? I think I remember your first tournament, or I don't believe I was there. I remember around the time when you started coming. Like, what got you to the WBO and like sparked your competitive drive to play?
Yeah. So I saw these mini tournaments on YouTube, and I was like, where I wanted to try to find them. So one day I searched up Beyblade tournaments on Google, and I found the WBO, and from there I went to my first tournament.
Yeah, it was Frost. Frost hosted that, right?
Well, no, that I came back from that tournament. For my first tournament was blader07, the Beyblade kid, hosted it.
Oh, okay. Oh man, so you've been around for a while. Like they weren't out too much longer than Frost, but yeah, my first tournament was with Builder Rob because he was the first one to host in North Carolina. After like a long hiatus. I think before him it was probably like Dark Mousy and Wombat era, and that was like Metal Fight. I don't think there were any Beyblade Burst hosts. And if there was, if y'all are listening, go ahead and correct me. But I think there was a long hiatus, and then Builder Rob came out, and he was the organizer. And then I think I passed, but I wasn't organizing WBO events. And then Frost came in a little bit after that, and then he was just knocking them out back to back to back. So the fact that I found out, because I didn't even know that you were at Builder Rob and the Beyblade kid, he was like, because the Beyblade kid, I guess we don't really talk about him on the show that much or really at all, but he was the leading competitor in North Carolina before Frost came around, and it was a whole era of Frost, Arca Paul, and now you. So that's pretty dope, man. That's pretty cool to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
No, I won't about to say nothing.
Okay. But yeah, after that, I took like a little hiatus from Beyblade and the tournaments, and then that's where I met Frost, and then I started I started to meet you, and then we're here.
Yeah. So how'd that first tournament go?
That first tournament, when I came back from Beyblade, I started like Sparking era, and I bought like World and Loose for the End, and I came up with and I made World on Drift, and the first tournament, I think I went the whole entire first stage just using World, and I went 3-1, 3-2, and so I got to the top 8, and then once I got to the top 8, I actually messed up because I changed my world to right spin, and I had my I had like this Lucifer bear, like a Lucifer combo on 2D, and that was meant for less spin. So I had 2 less spin counters, so I didn't know what to do.
Oh yeah, like deck, especially when you first get into it, it can be a struggle. You may not remember this, but I remember the first time I battled you, and this was when we were all playing like single bay, and I know like everyone, and this isn't the bad scouting. So I'll explain the two. The bad scouting is when you're looking like to see what Beyblade somebody is walking up with. And then like you're already at the stadium, you see what they're walking up with, you look to the judge and you're like, okay, I think I need to change. Or you're just waiting to see what the other person has. But if you're doing the good scouting to where it's like, okay, you're judging or you're seeing what other people are using and this and that, and then you go back, you have a match with that person, you're not technically looking at what they're coming up with. You're just trying to use your just tactical knowledge to be like, hey, what would be for me knowing this play style of this other blader, what would be the best way to play. And when you go against other skilled bladers or people who have that knowledge, to be like, if I know I'm running the same combo all day and I know this person is usually able to counter me, then I need to switch something up. Because I remember I remember that you had a left spinning world, or maybe it was right spin. I can't remember, but I know I had to switch up my bay because I had to think about it. And we ended up battling. I remember you were like, "Can I change rotation?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's not legal." But yeah, I remember you was pretty heavy with that world on drift combo, and it was pretty nice. Those are old school battles. I think that was when I first got to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. So
World on Drift has always been a solid combo since it's come out. Like it's still relevant.
It's like the perfect. Honestly, I won't say the perfect spinning top, but as far as opposite spin, it's it is one of the perfect
equalizer.
It's just round, just complete circle. It's dope. So that's pretty solid. And so you got into Takara Tomy, I would imagine, after you came back for Sparking, and you just been competing ever since.
Yeah, that was like when I was heavy into TT. My first TT was like the God customized set. I got that first, and then I got masked. And then when I first went to a tournament, I got the Master Diabolos, and then when I came back to Beyblade, I bought Sparking Beyblades.
Okay, all right.
So
Why'd you leave?
Skip like the GT era?
Well, I officially got into Beyblade during like the Choji.
Right. So then, like, you took a break during what, GT?
Yeah.
Okay.
Solid. Why did you stop initially?
I think because, well, at that time I wasn't heavy into TT Beyblades, and I was like playing with Hasbro mainly because I didn't know where like how Amazon, because one time I got an Amazon and it was fake, so I didn't buy it from Amazon, and I didn't see any good sellers on Amazon, and that's where I was mainly buying Beyblades.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I think we've all been bitten or have it.
So he came back once the 4Gaming website came out because it was easier to buy Takara Tomy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we had the store in 2020, and yeah, that was Sparking Meta. It was the end of GT. Yep, end of GT and startup of Sparking. Also COVID, but things end up working out in the end because yeah, we got bit by that Amazon bug too. Fortunately, I was able to catch it just from all the reviews I seen and find the WBO to do a lot of research. But it ended up working out, and I'm glad that you're here now, man, because you're definitely a heavy part of our community. I always look forward to seeing you and your dad there. You're a reliable judge, and no hate or shade to everyone else, but I know you always make the tournaments and you're always willing to judge. and that means a whole lot because it's organizing is tough, and it's even tougher if you don't have a reliable judge. So I do thank you and your dad for always bringing you out, and your mom as well, man. I got a lot of love for your family when it comes to this Beyblade life.
And
Yeah, 100%. Um, so you want to kick off for you want to talk about the regionals, Mike? I'll let you handle that because I know you're a big part of it.
Wow. Yeah, sure. So Fireblader, we saw that you got second place at your BWC regional qualifier. Congratulations on that. How was your experience with the BWC, with it being pick three, choose one, and everything?
with it being pick three, choose one, I just stay with these one combo I knew I was going to use. One combo I knew if it was going to go to a draw, I was going to use the second one, and then I just picked a random third one. But for the for the for the first five
First
rounds,
stage?
First
Yeah.
stage.
the first stage, I used Dynamite, F Gear Perseus, Armor 9, Illegal, Bearing Drift, and I just kept using that. And then one time it was the tie rule, so we had to go to a different Beyblade. So I used Wind Excalibur. No, the Wind Excalibur, that one had 9. And then it had Spread Dash and High Extend Plus, but the Dynamite had 0.
Oh, okay. And so I'm guessing so the Dynamite had illegal, and then the Wind had the spread dash.
Spread Dash, yeah.
Oh, I wonder where you saw that combo from.
Saw it from you and Zector.
Okay, so then how did the top cut go?
The top cut, for my first round, I went. It went pretty easy. I just kept using my dynamite combo, and then I kept and then I was like changing to my world on drift because I was using world Spriggan, 1S wheel drift, my dynamite combo, and then my third was the wind. And my strategy was to just use wind and just keep using wind and like wind against less spin, opposite spin, and then for my other opposite spin I use the world, and then for all around I just use dynamite.
Right.
So my first round was against. I just stuck with my dynamite, and then once, and it kept winning. It got me like 3 points or something, and then once I lost a point, I think he went with like vanish, so I went to my wind, and it looked like he won, or it was a tie, or it looked like a tie, but I actually won. So, and that got me 4, and then I just kept my win, and then I got the final point, and then so that was my first part of the top 8, or my first round. My second round, I stayed with my dynamite. He went with, I think, guilty, and I got that point. And I kept going the back and forth where if I win, I just keep with my baby, and if he wins, I switch to whatever he's using. And
So essentially, your strategy has been the double drift strategy, where you have one solid combo that can do good in kind of like opposite or same spin, but then try to guarantee to win, you just use your drift or metal drift combo to counter whatever it is they picked if they're picking first.
yeah,
Okay, does that strategy tend to work out well for you?
yeah, like against semi-experienced or unexperienced players.
Okay. So what kind of issues do you run into against like an experienced player?
where they a lot of times they'll have a drift that can't be my opposite spin, that they beat my opposite spin drift and I can't beat my same spin drift, and they beat my same spin drift.
Oh, okay. So those are normally the decks that are like a right and left spin, same spin stamina, and then like a one drift combo.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
like if they get the lucky outspin when it's drift versus drift, then they pull ahead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that does happen. So you're going to be in the Dark Horseman tournament along with me at BWC, right?
Right.
You excited for that? You excited for the interesting concept Kansei's got going for it?
Yeah, and it's also interesting like that there's 5 formats in one tournament. Like
Yeah.
or multiple formats.
Yeah,
So I got
I think it's 3 formats, isn't it?
yeah, it's 5G.
Hey,
I think it's
No.
I want to interrupt for 1 second because Fireblader got real mad at me. We got to talk about the final match.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
He
Let's talk
didn't
about.
get real mad at me, but he was questioning that. But it was a good match. We did talk about it on the show, because it was one of the strategies. Yeah, when he stayed with his same Beyblade. But I do want to hear like your viewpoints on that experience.
All right, so go ahead. Go over the final match real quick.
Okay, so my plan was I was thinking about with him being an attack and mine being a drift that he'll go around and I would stay in the center with my drift. So he would lose a lot of stamina going around while I would just stay in the center.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when I started to go round, and I thought it looked like it hit the corner wall, back wall,
Mm-hmm.
if you could say that. And then
Mm-hmm.
he came back around and then he bursted me. So, and then I looked and then I was like, oh no.
Yeah. I do want to explain because I had even like I know the rule, but sometimes in the heat of the battle or like the heat of the moment, it's like I'll even question myself. And I did a lot of questioning myself that day. So I apologize for a lot of people that were mainly involved in the finals. Like I said, it's tough because my only like other judge at that point in time, because people had left, was Fireblader, but he was competing. So it was just me and the stress. So I think I called Mike and I think I even messaged Shendog. But like that back wall rule, it's only the very back wall. So the side walls or like the corner, it doesn't count. And I know that sucks. It's confusing. I think WBO is working on it, but it's one of the things. It's just what it is for right now. But hopefully it'll change.
Well, speaking of that, Fireblader, how would you feel? Not fear. How would you feel if they got rid of the back wall rule and it just became like WBBA, where basically the Beyblade has to completely go out and stay out of the pocket to be considered a KO, but then KOs would be worth 2 points instead of 1 because they'd kind of be a little harder to actually achieve.
I would be okay with it because a lot of times the back wall does mess me up because I would because sometimes I would use a stamina type, and the other person would use an attack type, and I would hit the back wall but come back, but then he would get the point. So that would actually be good for me because I like to use stamina.
Right, you're a stamina blader, so it would be easier. It would help you out, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So then anyway, as we were talking about the Dark Horseman tournament, it's got what, the 5G, I think the WBO deck. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
5G WBO deck and then single bay for the final match, which will be interesting. I guess that's to get your base spirit going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as James said, you're pretty much like the highest ranked down there now in North Carolina. Is there any other like bladers down there that like you actually worry about when you're going to play them down there?
The ones that I'm worried about, like there's some like Blast and sometimes James, but
Not often enough. James, you suck.
yeah. Um,
Yeah. I haven't played in a while, and I don't think that we've battled each other in quite some time. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
be
been a
back. I'm,
while.
I'm gonna play in this next one.
Mm.
Yeah. I'll play. I plan on playing in all the upcoming events. As long as I'm able to. I haven't played. I think the last time I played was in December when I played in Charlotte, and I don't even think I made top 8 in that one. Hosting it, I'm not as focused when I'm organizing unless I force myself to be. Um, but I'm gonna try to do the best that I can. I try to give you something to worry about, Fireblader.
What was that? I didn't hear.
Oh, I said I'll try to give him something to worry about. I'm gonna be playing in the next upcoming tournaments. Um, because I haven't competed since December. But get my deck ready and then yeah, we'll see how it goes this it'll be next weekend actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to do
Okay.
month after that. So
What tournament do you guys have next week?
I'm doing I named it Luffy. NC's Adventure starts. I put a poll up because I want to host monthly events in North Carolina. Because like just to get away from all the traveling. A little bit what I talked in that Challenger video, but to be a little bit more stable and also like to build the local community because I noticed something else I don't think I talked on, but like I would have an event in North Carolina in like one area of North Carolina, and then I would like shoot up to Virginia or I'd shoot down to Georgia. And what that was doing is I was having an event in North Carolina, but it would be like another 3 to 5 months before I would ever come back here, even the same area. So a lot of people that were coming before, they probably lost interest or
Yeah, you were hurting your
oh,
community,
I really
your
was.
local community.
Yeah, I really was. But
Granted, at the time too, like when you first started, wasn't Frost hosting, and then
Frost was,
and then
yeah.
he had his baby.
He has his baby now, so it's like they can't. So he's not hosting like that. And I put the poll up to try to see like what areas because our main the main area was where Frost was hosting because he was hosting monthly, and that was in Charlotte. But it became the main area just because I wasn't hosting on the east side of North Carolina. But there's still a lot of bladers that were traveling from Virginia, Georgia, and the east side of North Carolina to go to Charlotte. So I put the poll up to try to see like, hey, where do y'all want to go? And Raleigh squeaked out, I think, with just like one extra vote. And for those listening, I didn't vote on any. I voted other, and that was just a test to make sure that the poll was working. But anyways, Raleigh squeaked out one extra vote, so that's where I'm going to be hosting at, and doing that month to month to month. That way, the community can grow. You can see your friends. You're not having to go forever without seeing some people that you play with. There's hopefully the skill level will continue to rise. Especially with the new release, everyone will be learning Beyblade X at the same time, and that kicking off. I did end up looking it up. There's going to be 13 releases. They're
Yeah.
not blades, but
What
13 releases in July.
one is like a Baylogger type thing that probably won't work in the States really, so we probably won't need that.
Yeah, I have them. It's so there's one, two, three, four starters. There's two boosters, and then there's something that looks like it's a booster, but it's got like it looks like it's an exclusive release, like one of the WBBA exclusives, but I'm not sure. And then you got the deck set, the battle pass. Is that what you were talking about with the? I don't really know what the battle pass is.
Yeah, the battle pass. It's like supposed to be a Baylogger type thing, probably.
Okay, and then they have a launcher grip, a stadium, and a case, a deck case. So those are the 13. So essentially, we're getting one, two, three, four, five, six Beyblades. Four of those will be with, or possibly seven with that exclusive release. I don't know if they're going to be recolors or anything like that. I doubt they will be because it's a new system. So we're getting six Beyblades in July, and then we're getting a booster in let's see, it's August. Yeah, booster in August, and then in September we're getting a random booster set.
I think there's going to be 4 Beyblades, which will be, one of each typing, and then after that it turns into the like whatever the other 3 are for the first 7. I think they're just going to be recolors.
Okay. What were you talking about for the random booster?
No. But
Oh, those other
between
boosters.
all the initial sets that come out in July and
Mhm.
everything, I think 4 of them, because it's 4 starters, and then 2 boosters and
Yeah, 2 normal boosters, and then I think this third booster is something special. And I
yeah.
didn't think about it, but the battle deck set might have 2 exclusive Beyblades in it too, or they might be recolors. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's only going to be 4, and then it's going to mostly be recolors. Granted, unless they are thinking about doing like a 5G right off the bat, because then they might give like 6 Beyblades or so people can mess with parts.
Yeah, they might do something like that. It's going to be interesting and intriguing to see in July, because I already have. I'll let you know, Fireblader and everyone listening. I have events scheduled all the way up through to July. Um, WBO, and I think this is a good idea for just normal events. I think 30 days out, you can post your event, which is great. Gives people time um, to be able to see them. So I went ahead and I booked and scheduled everything up through July. And then the July event, I still plan on doing Burst. But in August, depending on how the rule set is and depending on the amount of releases that we get, I may do in August, I'll probably do a Beyblade X tournament. If the rules are there and we're able to do it, the community wants to do it, I'm gonna ask, because that's another benefit of doing it continuously with the community. We could talk about these things together and do it. And honestly, if there's not enough bays out, I would be still comfortable doing single bay at this tournament. I know we don't like that format as much, but I feel like with the limited amount of bays and the limited amount of experience with them, single bay wouldn't be too bad.
Well, it all also depends on how WBO wants to do it. If they want to take everything straight from WBBA.
Yeah, that's what I was saying with the
Like that,
rules.
that's why for me, I'm thinking I'm not gonna host a Beyblade X tournament until September. Give people that month and a half to actually acquire their part.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I think that's another thing I was thinking, because I've never wanted people to feel like they have to buy Beyblades from the store. I usually will have spares, but I know I'm not going to have enough spares. Well, actually, I could. The same people who don't have them could use them, but I don't want to feel like, hey, you're coming to this tournament. In order for you to play, you have to buy Beyblades from our store. Like, I'm not trying to, what is that? Like, give people ultimatums or anything like that. I want them to have their own options. So another thing I'm hoping too, because Hasbro is usually like a month behind. So hopefully they have something that releases out that's compatible with the system
Yeah.
in August or September. I would imagine by September they should have some things out. And they typically release a lot. Um, Man, wouldn't that be something crazy if like Hasbro starts releasing and they're as good as Takara Tomy?
Well, I'm hoping that they said something about Takara Tomies releasing globally. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping that Hasbro just becomes a gateway for Takara Tomy to sell their stuff through.
Yeah.
Kind of like how over there in Japan, Hasbro sells Transformers through Takara Tomy.
hmm That is the thing. These Beyblades, these exclusive releases are global.
Yeah.
So it'll be something. It'll be nice. Shoot, it may put 4Gaming out of business, which I mind, but I don't mind because I still be able to play.
Right.
Play then it's solid. And yeah, we'll go from there. How you feel about that, Fireblader? Are you? Let me get your opinion as a community member in North Carolina. Was it like kind of sucking or whatever without the monthly tournaments going on here, or how'd you feel on that?
I feel like it gave me more time to practice with the new parts that came out, like the December release. I got more time to practice with that. and it just gave me more time to prepare for another tournament.
Yeah. Are you okay with the month to month, or you think you'll need bigger breaks? Or
I'm perfectly fine with the month to months because that will also give me uh that will get me more active in the community.
yeah,
Yeah, for the longest time, I hosted one once a month. Now that we've got so many organizers here in Maryland, though, we're starting to see a lot more happening monthly. Like, I
yeah.
think we're seeing like 2 a month right now for us.
That's sweet. I'm hoping we can get to that point. I know, like the Charlotte community, because there are some still locals to Charlotte that may not come up here. We have our like a North Carolina Discord. I think they're planning to do something in South Carolina, but that would be sweet if they could. And shoot, we can even sometimes meet somewhere in the middle. But yeah, if just having that, or what I was getting at is hopefully other organizers will be able to pop up. Either on the west side of North Carolina or closer towards the like South Carolina, Georgia area, to keep those guys active. And there's plenty of people I know that are capable to become organizers. They help me out with judging, and they're real knowledgeable in the game and the rule set. So we'll see. Yeah,
Yeah, it's I also like, as an organizer, I've gotten to really like know my community too by constantly hosting in the same place.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the only thing though, and I will stress this a little bit, if you get really good at organizing and then other people start organizing, you definitely have to help them because
oh yeah.
like when I went on that rant about people not helping new organizers, like it felt really bad that a tournament happening in a certain area, doesn't run smoothly unless I take it over.
Yeah, well, that part, like, that's just part of my personality, and that's Frost too. So I've dealt with that, and those were some of the tournaments. Those were the tournaments that I had the most fun at, and I would typically do the best at because I wasn't having to organize anything. But I was helping. So in it, like when Frost would come to mine or I'd go to his, one of us would run challenge, or if one of us got there before the other one. Like there's been times when went ahead and logged in people that were coming, had challenge already set up, or vice versa. I do it for him. We always ask and communicate because I don't like judges putting in results because sometimes that can cause confusion. We might get to a place in the future where we can do that, but not right now. Um, so I would always ask them, and we communicate that, and we help each other out if we had any questions. And the organizer would be the organizer, and then the secondary organizer, whether if it was me or him, would be the head judge. So he wasn't stressed out. All he had to worry about doing was calling out tournaments and I mean calling out matches and putting them in, and vice versa. So that definitely works out. If anybody became an organizer, like they wanted to host in Raleigh or somewhere I was going, I would be 100% on board with helping them or anything they needed. And that's mainly because I know how stressful it is just to do it by yourself. So that extra help always helps.
Yeah.
Um, it was intriguing that I never really thought about the global because I did see it, and now you're talking about it. I didn't really think that TT was selling it worldwide, but that makes a whole lot of sense. Even with that Hasbro name on it, if the TT Beyblades are able to come out here even a month late, that'll be pretty sweet. Um, I wanted to, I guess we're talking about that. I wonder if that would be any like what's the word inclination or whatever that WBBA may go global as well. What you think? What y'all think?
I I feel like it. I feel like just Beyblade X as a whole should become global because it will require parts to become more accessible, or yeah, you'll be able to get parts better.
Yeah, yeah. What you?
Um, g-
Yeah.
give me 1 second. My wife needs me real quick.
Oh no, you good. You good.
All right, I'll be right
So
back.
So I guess what I was getting on that, and we'll hear Mike's opinion when he comes back. Man, I guess this is a pretty big topic now that really thinking about it, because WBBA goes global. There's some differences that will definitely change within our community here in North America. Um, like if you can pick up the store, if you could pick up the bays in Target, um, we may not have as much need for the online stores, but at the same time, the online stores will still be there because it's the same as Target. If you're trying to go in there and get a specific Beyblade or specific part, you can't find it in the stores, so it's easier to go online, and it'll probably be a lot better. And I'm sure you can agree with this, to go to a store with a decent reputation that specializes in selling Beyblades versus going on Amazon and you not knowing what you get.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but that's just on the business aspect of it. But as far as like WBBA, I'm thinking with the WBO, but more so because WBBA is for kids. Um, I don't know how old you are, Fireblader. You don't have to say, but I think it's like 12 and under that get to go to the world like championship. Um, and they're the ones that are usually at these events and things like that. I wouldn't know the requirements because WBBA, like I wouldn't be able to play in those tournaments if I'm hosting them, even if I'm hosting them for adults. So there's two different age brackets if WBBA did come to North America, which I don't know. I could possibly see it. Maybe because Burst blew up so much. I know they do see what goes on with the WBO and how active our community is and how active we've gotten. And those things may happen, man. What do you think?
I am back.
Okay. Um, I'll go. Fireblader was just about to talk, but I'll go back over what I was saying.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, the first part I was saying, how much this global thing could change so much. First, I got on the business side with the stores. I was like, if you can get the Beyblades inside of Target and things like that, like it kind of, but doesn't at the same time make the stores less valuable because we still go on the Target now, and sometimes you can't find a Beyblade that you need, so you can go onto some of the online stores and just get them. That's willing to Told me let's just continue on with that. So the stores will still be valid in that sense and in that way, going to them versus trying to find something off of Amazon and you run into the same issues with fakes. And then the secondary thing, I was like WBBA versus WBO, and in terms because WBBA, as far as going to that world championship, is just for kids. Um, and also with us organizing those, if anyone was to organize part of WBO, we can't really participate in that tournament. So I don't know if they would have it just for the hobby shops. And um, yeah, that's just kind of what I was getting at, like the impact it would have with the WBO, impact it would have with stores. So, Fireblader, I'll let you go first, and then hear from Mike.
Sounds good.
Yeah. It is a possibility that there'll be like tournaments inside of stores, and as you said, it will be harder because if there is an age limit, it will be harder for like adults to play into tournaments, and that will maybe help make the WBO more helpful into getting more people, more of the community, more of the older community into Beyblade.
Yeah, uh, yeah. What you think, Mike?
So, if WBBA was to basically take over here as far as the tournaments go, I think it's definitely going to have an impact on the WBO. But I think it also depends because if WBBA decides to really grow and they see over here there is a big thing for playing Beyblade through the older, like adult community, it is possible they could do age brackets.
Yeah,
And that would be interesting. But if they stick strictly for like 13 and under, for WBBA tournaments, then I could see WBO just rebranding their name because they probably want to be able to have Beyblade within their name.
Yeah.
But I could see them rebranding it to maybe something like World Spinning Top Organization or something.
Yeah.
Which then in that case, the WBO would become how you go to for an adult tournament. Like we would just do adult tournaments. We'd probably
Well,
still play WBBA rules, but we just focus on adult players.
well, I think about like because I listen to a lot of the like WBBA, well, players that get interviewed from WBBA, whether from the Philippines, Singapore, Japan, just the Asian countries, and their regions are like it's like I don't want to say weird because it is a universal thing that the kids like 12 and under or whatever are like the officials for the WBBA to be a representative of their country. But there's still a lot of like, I guess, like hidden or not hidden, but like exclusive adult leagues or exclusive like leagues to where like what Papa Bay plays in. And he still gets like really cool prizes and things like that. Like, yeah, he can't go to the G1 tournament or go to like the world championship because that may be just for kids, but there's still like some workings within the WBBA that he still gets like some of those exclusive and cool prizes. And I think it was Mac Burst. I recently watched that on Zincast also. Shout out to Zincast, Zenky. And he was talking about like his region and something that was interesting to me with that, he was even saying like his representative didn't know how to play 3v3, which it made me think like if it's WBBA, like wouldn't you have to play 3v3? But I guess it's exclusive to their region, the style and the way that they play. And he had to teach their representative how to play 3v3 on the spot because they were going to Worlds.
Yeah.
So yeah, what you said like WBO, yeah, it could be exclusive just to the adult crowd, but maybe it may, I don't know, like it could be even a possibility Takara Tomy reaches out to them to handle a lot of some of the things over here because they're so involved with the community already.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I
yeah,
mean that's one thing. If you were on like a US or Canadian like VPN or whatever and you search, Beyblade tournament, WBO is what pops up. So
100%.
like, so right now like they would acknowledge that and be like, well, if that's what pops up, that's going to be like the quickest and fastest way to make sure we get people buying things and playing.
Yeah, yeah, that would be, it would be nice. It's all speculation now. Like we're not saying that this is all going to happen, but it does get you thinking because I mean I saw the global thing, and then even like you mentioned in it, if they're distributing worldwide, um, I think it will affect a lot of things. But the beautiful thing I really see about this is that Beyblade has grown and
Yes.
grown like tremendously. Like our tournaments are still where our tournaments at, but from Metal Fight to Burst, the tournament participation has definitely grown a lot. Like in no way, shape, or form are we turning out numbers like they do in Asia, where they're having like 100 people show up and then a single elimination, and they get done within like 3 to 4 hours. We have like 24 people show up, and that takes us like 3 or 4 hours. But that because we're running Swiss and things like that. But I think another part of that issue is that, like with me traveling to a whole nother state, I don't want to play single elimination. But if I'm just going down to my local hobby shop, I'm going to test my deck and I'll do the single elimination because I know there's going to be another tournament next weekend, you know?
Right.
So, man, that's really got mine. It's got me hyped a little bit, Mike. Like, how would you and Fireblader, like, what would y'all want to see with that?
Like if they started doing G4 and G5 tournaments here, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it would be nice to have Beyblade Weekly because honestly, then like I would get much more active testing out of my parts
yeah,
because like like I said, a month in between or even the 2 weeks in between, like even just before this podcast, I had Alan Schaefer here and we were play testing a whole new part, spicy part by the way. I'm not going to reveal it, but it is a spicy part.
yeah,
Um, and it's actually really good. But anyway, so like this is my only part in time where like I can kind of test stuff is sitting here at my house. I don't get to actually take things into the field and test it until a tournament.
yeah,
So and right now we like me and Fireblade are both. We have Dark Horseman and stuff coming up. I want to get as much testing for parts and stuff in as possible because I want to win that Dark Horseman tournament.
Yeah.
So, but testing my own stuff by myself isn't as good of testing as taking it to where I'm going to test against 6 different. I get to battle against 6 different people, 6 different play styles, 6 different launch patterns to see is there anything specific that changes how this works.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one of the things, like with having those weekly tournaments, and I guess like in a lot of the WBVA events, like you do have your home testing, but you don't have to wait for a month or 2 months to go out. Like you do your testing and you get to test it right. And you get to test it in a tournament this weekend. And you get to see like, okay, man, maybe this is super effective. And it actually probably happens so quick, people don't have time to just copy off you that day, especially if it's single elimination. You're knocking somebody out. They don't have time to come back and try to copy your combo. Yeah. I guess
it'll only be the spectators that can. But anyway, I mean, if it's WBBA, you probably still have to register a deck.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that too.
Which I go back and forth on. I have had multiple like feelings about whether I like that or not.
Yeah. I got another question with that, but I wanted to hear did you already explain your feelings on how you would like G4 or anything like that if we had it, Fireblader? I can't remember.
No, he didn't yet.
Yeah.
Well, I would kind of like it because, as you said, we would be playing every week, and that would also spread the community more because they'll see us playing and they'll be like, "What is that?" And then that in our stores, so that would spread the community more.
Yeah,
that's also another thing where I feel like when we're playing at a park and kids and their parents come up and they start asking us questions and you explain Beyblade, you can go to the WBO site and do this and that and have a tournament and we'll have a tournament next month or something. A month goes by, they could possibly forget. But if you're like, hey, next Saturday we're all right here playing Beyblade again for a tournament, they remember because it's only a week past. It hasn't been a month.
Yeah, or they'll be like, yeah, well, I don't have anything to do next Saturday, so I'll see you here next Saturday. It's like solid. Yeah. What I was gonna say is, were you done, Fireblader? I didn't want to cut you off.
You're good. I'm done.
What I was gonna say is, and I feel the same way. Well, not 100%, but I understand what you're saying as far as registering the deck. But if we were able to get those cool exclusive prizes, like the gold Solomon core when it came out, or like the gold bearing drift and things like that, like I definitely do my testing and register my deck with no complaints and go in there and try to win that, because like those are the exclusive prizes that we like. If we get them here, the only way we can get them is if like the organizers spent like $200 or $300 to get it from get it off of eBay or something, and then it's like probably a few months after it had released. But to have it like that exclusive and the company backing would be so great. It would be so much fun. I feel like it's like another incentive to play for. Like we're really playing in the league. One concern I did have, and it may change, but like a lot of my local hobby shops, like I've tried to host Beyblade tournaments in them, and some of them will let me, but it's like they don't know Beyblade and they don't understand Beyblade. They're either heavy into Magic, heavy into Yu-Gi-Oh, or they're doing Pokemon on certain days. But if it does change and they're able to push out the Beyblade community to North America like that, I'd be all on board, and I'd even go and advocate for it in certain locations.
Yeah, well, hobby shops will definitely pick something up more if it's backed by a big corporation rather than something that's just backed by a little website on the internet.
Yeah. My random self just popping up there like, yeah, I own this Beyblade store and I'm with the World Beyblade organization trying to host a tournament. And they're like, okay, dude. But if I'm like, hey, man, Takara Tomi's trying to do this, or Hasbro is sponsoring this event, they're like, oh, yeah, well, we'll definitely promote it and get things going.
Yeah.
That would be sweet. Man, that actually turned out to be like pretty hype, and I'm probably getting way more hype than I should be over this because it's
Because it's all theory.
yeah, it was all theory, but for the global like that realization, it is a thing, and just from them saying that, it may change. I don't know. Maybe Zenki got up there and bashed Hasbro enough that Takara Tomy is like, you know what? We'll start delivering metal Beyblades over to the States. It's like,
Yep.
okay.
If that's the reason, Zanky, you're my hero.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's I will admit, when I first got into Beyblade, like before we had the store, I did enjoy bay hunting. It I can see it getting stressful if you're looking for a specific part and you can't find it after you went to your third or fourth target. But it was still a lot of fun when you do discover it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Fireblader, are you nervous for BWC?
I am a little because there is a lot of top players going, and that, but it also gives me a lot of competition. Gives me a good amount of competition to expect.
Yeah, really test yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's my group chat. We've been having a conversation, and there are so many different tournaments like that Kansei is having within the BWC, and I actually decided to tell them, "Hey, I'm not gonna help you guys anymore with combos or anything, like because the formats are so different, and I'm not gonna sit here and do all the testing for them and figure out the format and be like, hey, this is what's good." Because I finally told them, like, hey guys, you guys need to start branching out and becoming your own bladers. It's not just gonna be let's follow what Crisis Crusher's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
think go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so my group may be a little lackluster this time around.
Yeah. Oh, are y'all all playing in the standard stadium?
Oh, I mean, I've been practicing in different stadiums, but the standard stadium is like the main thing we play in.
Okay. And y'all playing in DB Stadium tomorrow, right?
Yep, we're playing full WBBA format tomorrow. The only,
Five.
yep, the only thing we're not doing is we're not doing a deck registration.
Okay. I don't know if it's all WBVA formats. I know Papa Bay, like they play first stage in standard and then second stage in DB.
Yeah, so I think it's all based on the tournament. I think you're allowed to. I think with the WBBA rules, you're allowed to choose different stadiums. Like you don't have to do it in the DB. I think you can choose between like the standard and the DB, but I think like the top cut has to be in DB.
Yeah, I think it was either Papa Bay. I'm pretty sure Mariah Beyblade said it. I can't remember if Papa Bay did too, but it was I think in the smaller like the G4 tournaments, that's when they do that. But as you get closer to like G2 and definitely G1, they play in the most up to date stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think G4 tournaments are allowed to mess with rules a little bit. Like they're allowed to tweak them, but I think anything above that is like super strict.
okay.
But
And I
but
wonder,
that's the thing. People play in more G4 than anything else because they're every week.
yeah, 100%. And I think they also implement their own bans according to the region also. Because I know Singapore, I think it was Singapore or the Philippines, they did have unique bans in their area. Because because some of the bans had to happen. Because we'll say in Singapore, they had real strict rulings on their releases. So what was the last Barricade Lucifer came out, right, in December.
Yeah.
So we're able to get access to the releases as soon as they come because of the local stores that we have and just like global shipping. But if it was to a point to where like Target was only releasing and those were the only ones that able to be utilized or recognized by WBBA from the major corporations that Hasbro was dealing with, um, it wasn't allowing. And since Hasbro's like a month behind, it wasn't allowing like if we are in December or January and some people had Barricade Lucifer and some people didn't, you can only play with what was exclusively released within your country by like the
Yeah.
main dealer. And that's something to think about too, because yeah, we can get them, because some of the interviews I've heard, the WBBA players would be able to get what's most up to date, but they couldn't use it at a tournament because officially it wasn't officially released in their
Right.
country. Yeah. Yeah. That's more
Right.
speculation, but
All right, so Fireblader, while we got you up here, I want to talk to you about the ranking system itself. How do you feel about it?
I feel like sometimes it will be at a disadvantage to some people, because if you're one of the top people in your state, it's hard for you to gain points. And and me being at the top of North Carolina right now, I have to be like, okay, I have to try harder now, since I'm at a higher rank.
Right. So in a weird way, it helps you though, then, because then it pushes you to do better.
Yeah, definitely.
What is there anything else about the ranking system in particular? Like, how do you feel about other stuff being mixed in with it, like First Classic and stuff like that?
Well, I haven't played Classic at all, but I feel like that it it shouldn't. Well, I feel like it should be, because it's also like because it also uh brings competition to the tournament. But it's
Right.
something, you need to you need to try harder now because of this.
So so you're okay with like like Burst Standard being mixed in with the ranking for Burst Classic?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. I think what my mindset has definitely changed on that, but we'll talk about that at a later date. Because I used to be like, I didn't see the point in it. I didn't see, like, if I play standard and I have a certain rank and someone else only plays classic and they're ranked alongside me, like how did that correlate? But that's
Right.
yeah, another a topic for another day. But yeah, it's intriguing to see your mindset on that. It's like competition is competition, so you're completely fine with it. I like that. I respect that.
Have you guys ever sat down and figured out like your win-loss ratio or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Do you know what your win-loss percentage is right now? Your win percentage?
Not right now. No.
I think me and my group, we sat down and did ours the other day. Actually, we were talking about it. I think I'm at like a 72% win rate. And then it was funny because like I think Geetster is the next one under me, and he's at like a 60 or something.
Yeah.
So it's like that gap is actually kind of high. But granted,
Yeah.
to be fair too, like some people like Geetster, they've been playing for a long time, so that that win ratio is reflected by that. Like, you know, I'm still, in my opinion, I'm still early on in where I'm at in Beyblade.
Yeah. There's, like, if you look at the top rankings, and I think that is some of the things that impressed me the most. So I would say the number of bits that someone has, as well as their win to loss ratio, like CSC Raymond, is insane. 100. I'm looking at it now. 193 wins and 35 losses. The same with another player in this region. He stopped, but Union Achilles. And the one that always intrigued me the most was King Lufa with the 61 wins and 10 losses. It's like that was wild. Even shoot Shendog, I'm looking at him now, 134 to 29.
Yeah, CSC Raymond right now has an 84% win ratio.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
he's
so like
insane.
So like stuff like that, like Geetzer had said before, the ranking system does not really reflect a blader's skill.
Yeah.
Like it just reflects on how many times you won against someone that had more points than you.
Yeah. I think and yeah, like we always talk about Zector, and like I really respect him, man. Shout out to you. I know we shout you out a lot. He's one of the best bladers I've ever seen, and he does so much for his community. Like it's tremendous. Um, I don't see him. I don't know where he is on the ranking. I don't even care because I know he's legit. Um,
I think he's on like page 3.
I do want to find him now. Um, I don't. I don't see him on 3. Let me check 2.
He's on 2. He's on 2. He's got 149 wins and 33 losses.
Yeah, still a beast. Yeah, 100% a beast. And it's like, dude, that's insane. That's insane. Like when you think about that, like it's crazy. Um, he's a great blader. See who else was I thinking about? I know Zector, and yeah, I think I said CSC Raymond. When his win loss ratio, because they're just so high, and that reflects a whole lot. Because those guys barely lose. You know, they barely lose.
Yeah. Yeah, win loss ratio is actually, in my opinion, more important than BR.
Yeah, I think that, and um, I would say the bits, just because you are like you're going through that deck format, and
Well,
that format shows something.
I would say the bits. However, I've come to realize that like there's a lot of bits that you just don't even get anymore. Are you talking only about like bronze, silver, gold bits?
Yeah, that's all that. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
that's
Because
all.
there's some people that have a bazillion like bits, but they're not all for top 3 in a tournament.
Yeah, I'm talking about the placement bits. Like that's all
Yeah.
that. I mean, I'm not saying the other bits don't matter, but the placement bits are what's most important because that's the competitive level with your skill. Um, yeah, yeah. All right, yeah. So we hit up Beyblade X. The excitement for that even jumped into some WBBA. The Dark Horseman, y'all have that. So it's 5G in the first stage and then single bay in the finals. And
It's it's 4 rounds. The first 2, because it's only 16 players. So the first 2 rounds is WBBA 5G, and then the third round is WBO deck format, and then the fifth round, which is the finals between first and second place, will be single bay.
okay, okay.
Yeah, it's really weird. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Fireblader, how do you feel about none of the events being ranked in BWC?
I feel like I'm okay with that because because that's relaxing to like, you don't have to worry about your ranking now. Now
True.
that yeah,
That is true.
but
Uh,
also
Go ahead.
like you're going up against top players, so you won't be able to gain a lot of points from it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you battle someone that's close to your rank, like you do actually get more points. Like if I battle if I was to battle Henwudra right now and win, I would actually still get like 5 to 6 points, maybe even more off of him. I think I can get like 10 off of him. But like if I battled, Random Blader B39, whatever their name is, I don't know, just Random Blader, off in the distance, you know, I'm gonna get 1 point if I win. I'm not gonna get any more than that. So like if you battle people close to you, you still get like decent amount of points.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He was like on the good side, it's no stress, but on the bad side, he won't be able to get any points.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I think. I can't remember what I was gonna say. You can carry on five later. I forgot.
And it's also good that it's unranked because there's also going to be some unexperienced players there, and that will make you lose a lot of points too.
If you lose to them, but don't lose to them.
Well,
Yeah, I think so. You have it's 16. So it's dropping 16, 8, 4, 2, right?
Yep.
Single elimination.
Yes, I think
Okay,
so.
I got it now. All right. So 5G deck format, and then single bay. Man, that's gonna be some stress.
Yeah, you've got to do a lot of thinking on what kind of decks you're going to use too, because like in the 5G, you've got 5 different Beyblades you got to use. You've got rotation changing. Oh wait, hold on. I don't think it's actually 5G though. Hold on, I got to double check now.
And
I think it's like a banning phase.
Yeah, I think it's a modified 5G. Hold up. I think it's called Total Domination.
Yeah.
Let's see. Beyblade Premiere.
and is it all the 5 points?
Give me
Uh,
give me 1 second and I can tell you. I'll just read some of the information for it. Dark Horseman. Okay, the first round. Oh, that's what it is. The first round is Total Domination. Second round is 5G in the Standard Stadium, and then WBO deck, and then 1v1. So this Total Domination format. So it's 5 Beyblades. But the way you do it? Okay, so this is kind of wonky. It's really wonky. So everything is worth 1 point.
What
You
do you mean everything's worth 1 point? Like per
like burst, outspin, KOs are all worth 1 point.
Okay.
There's a driver variant rule. You can only use one version of a driver, so you can't use like extreme and extreme dash. Mode changes are allowed, including spin change and everything like that. But so what it basically is at the start, both Beybladers inspect the opponent's decks, and then one of that, I would choose one Beyblade that you have, and that Beyblade is banned. You cannot use that Beyblade, and you will do the same for me. And then we keep playing, like rotating back and forth between Beyblades, like say then you pick your first Beyblade and I pick mine. We battle. If you win, your Beyblade you can no longer pick it, and then you have to pick something else, and then I can choose whatever Beyblade I want to pick from there. And whoever ends up, winning with every one of their 4 Beyblades that are left is the one that wins. Like you have to get a point with each Beyblade.
Hold on. That's the 5 format.
This is the Total Domination format. This format is gonna be weird.
Okay, so I have 5 Beyblades, you have 5 Beyblades.
Yeah.
You win yours, you have to throw that away.
Well, no. So first we inspect each other's decks, and we each ban a Beyblade from each other that we can't use.
Okay.
So then you go down to 4 Beyblades.
And then we battle. I have to put mine away that I won with. And then I can just choose whatever from my remaining 3, and you choose whatever from your remaining 4.
Right. And so say then after that we battle, and you win again. You put that Beyblade to win, and you have 2. I still have 4. And then we keep going. Like, say then I win 1, I throw a Beyblade away, I'm down to 3, and then you win another one, you're down to 1, and I'm still at 3. And then we battle, and just your last Beyblade beats mine again, and I have 3, and you have none. You win. You win the whole match.
Oh, okay.
Because all of your Beyblades had then won a battle and scored a point.
Okay. So it's just whoever is done first wins.
Right. So it's basically it's first of 4 points, but each time you win a point, you have to remove one of your Beyblades.
Dang.
Oh, hold on. How to win? Score a point with 3 different bays. Oh, okay. So it's first to 3, but you have to win with 3 different Beyblades. You can't win with you can't win with the same Beyblade. So I can't just sit there on BDR the entire time.
Bro, that's gonna be tough because I don't know how you can. I mean, I'm sure there's ways to think about it and to strategize for it, but if you don't know, like, because you're both going up there with essentially a 5G deck, you don't know the order of them, and you're looking at their bays, and you have to order yours in a way that would benefit you. Because if you get down to your last 2 or whatever, and you just got a trash Beyblade and you just keep losing, it's gonna suck.
Yep.
Or because even if you put a good one at the last 2, once you win that point, that's it. Like that's just your point. And dang, I don't know. Have fun. I
And
think
your best one can get banned.
yeah, your best can get banned.
So you have to think about like what Beyblades. You have to think about like which Beyblade do you want to ban from your opponent and everything. Like in this scenario here, like if I have both like Wind or Dynamite on BDR and World on Drift, like which one do you ban?
Yeah, because you could do rotation changes.
Yes.
Yeah. But still that
Ooh.
only guarantees 1 point. Wait, can you do rotation change with more than 1 bay or just 1 bay?
No, just one. So yes, it's only a 1 point guarantee, but at the same time it's like, what if you have 4 left spins and 1 right spin and they ban your 1 right spin?
Yeah. I was
Right.
I thought about that. I would probably ban the rotation changer just because that's so
It's strong.
yeah, it's the strongest one. Like that would be the immediate one that I would want to ban. Because that's almost a guaranteed point. Um yeah, whenever y'all do it, we gotta talk about it up here to see how that format goes. Deck and 1v1 is normal, right?
Yeah, 5G deck format and 1v1 is all basically the way it normally is. Like 5G is 1 OS, 2 KO, 2 draw. It's just in the standard stadium instead. WBO deck first of 5. The difference is it says first of 5, 1 OS, 2 KO, 2 burst, and then if it's a draw, it says move up. I have to double check on that. Oh, okay, it's not there. Okay, it doesn't exist there. That's why there's a star there, because the same thing for finals.
Okay.
1 OS, 2 K. So they're using the point system for WBBA in this for all
Oh,
3.
okay. I yeah, I'm intrigued to see like how that works out. It sounds like it'll be fun. It sounds like it'll be either like high level of thinking for that.
That first round is gonna show Blader's skill right off the bat.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you don't really have a choice. Honestly, if I was doing it, I don't know, man. It probably sound crazy and whack, but I'd probably try to run all attackers.
Are they doing the wall bounce rule?
Let me check. Gotta read through all these. Repeating card, draw roll. It does not say anywhere. I don't know if he's got much of that really decided on yet for anything. I think he might be waiting for what WBO decides to do with it. I honestly think if he's doing things mostly the way WBBA is, there won't be a wall bounce rule.
Yeah. It probably won't because I know he likes WBBA more.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's expressed that to me. He likes the aesthetics and the things that they do. So I probably won't have the wall bounce rule. Yeah, I'll probably run majority attackers and then like maybe a stamina or two in there. But I feel like you'd have a decent chance as long as you can utilize attack pretty well. Because it's kind of like the safest bet. You don't have to worry about those opposite spin matches. You're just trying to go for the KO or the burst every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but granted, there aren't two. Well, no, you got Zyphoid, you got Guilty. You could
You got
probably,
ultimate.
yeah, you got Ultimate. You might be able to squeeze something out with a Rage. Um, yeah, and just go for it from there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So what's going on Sunday? Oh, I will say that I did want to shout out because I do think it's a good idea, and I thought about it. Like his Genesis tournaments, like I didn't look into them at first, but it is pretty sweet and pretty dope because I don't run into a lot of issues of like parents getting upset. Parents typically don't, but I do feel bad sometimes when I have little kids come in and it's their first tournament and they're just not doing as well because they don't have all the up-to-date Beyblades that a lot of the adults can get because we have our own jobs or we're a little bit older with allowance money or whatever for the older kids. So to have some of the young kids come in and they're not having to deal with the high level strategy of older players or the pockets of older players, I will say that's pretty dope running that Genesis
Yeah.
Genesis style like tournaments for kids to come in. You're playing against other kids, and yeah, it's just fun in that aspect. And I think
Fireblader, are there any changes within the WBO that you would ever like to see that you've thought about?
I would say no. There's pretty much not any.
Okay, how do you feel about BDR?
I feel like now it's balanced because since attack is it's a little more it's more vulnerable to attack. And if you're a skilled attack player, you could lose against BDR can definitely lose against attack.
Mm-hmm. So you're on board with the it doesn't need to be banned because it allows attack to be played and a skilled attack player can deal with it just fine.
Yes.
Okay, because that's one of the biggest debates right now is a lot of people want BDR banned because now you don't really want to use any other stamina driver other than BDR.
Yeah.
But like in my opinion, because my biggest thing that I've had the whole time is for the longest time, at least for the past 2 years of Dynamite, all I've heard is you know everything spamina, attack, we need stuff to work better for attack, which is why people didn't want the wall bounce gone. So they were, more focused on attack. But now that BDR has come out and attack has seen more popularity and is being used more, but there's not enough stamina drivers out there to play other than BDR, people are now having a fit about that, and I can't fathom it. My brain has just been exploded from this.
yeah, I think it's just hard to please the masses. I think there's always it's human nature. There's always something to complain about, and
I don't know if it's the masses though. That's the problem.
well, yeah, it's probably not the masses, 100% not, but I guess the loudest voices. Oh,
Yes, like I'll be honest, it's normally the loudest that have the issue.
yeah, yeah. I haven't competed since. Well, I think people were using December or November around that time. Probably not as heavily as it's being used now, but I haven't competed with it or against it. But I have been using attack more, so I'll see how it goes for myself.
Yeah.
Mm.
Fireblader, how do you ever use attack or no?
I've tried it recently, and I'm starting to get into it be- because it required a lot of strategy because I've been using it's it requires a lot of like strategy and like angling your launch to really do something to your Beyblade, to the other Beyblade.
Yeah, the attack is definitely a skill based thing.
Yeah.
What have you been using, if you don't mind me asking? Or if you don't want to disclose it now, if you're saving it for World Cup, like, you don't have to, but
I'll keep it a secret for now.
all right, I understand that, my man. My man. Will I possibly see it next week? I won't shout it out unless it's in the winning combos.
Maybe.
Maybe? All right. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see it. I think Blast is coming, and I can't remember who else. There's some other bladers that should be showing up.
All right, I'll
Yeah,
come. I'll be there.
yeah, yeah. You could come. I think our meta down here, well, even though it's like the same base, I think the play styles are different.
Yeah.
I will say that. And I could say this, and maybe I'm your bad luck, but I have not been to a tournament with you, Crisis, that you've been the top cut. And
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe I'm your bad luck, because every tournament that we're in together, we don't make top cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you come down here and you be like, oh, I'm about to smash on NC, and then it's like we have the episodes like I don't know how I went 1-4. It happens, man. You play against, like, I will say from my traveling, that is something I saw. Like, even people will they'll have the same Beyblade, have the same combos, but it's either with their launch or just like the strategy they have with it. It just performs so differently, depending on the region that you're at, it's a weird thing, but it is a thing that I've seen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Fireblader beat me in the open rounds, the first stage at the Virginia tournament. We both were at.
Mm-hmm. How was that tournament? I saw it in your history, Fireblader. I think was it February?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that tournament go?
You want to talk about it, Mike?
You can tell us your experience, how you felt.
All right. So at this tournament, there was a decent amount of new players and a lot of skilled players, including Kirito and Grishi, because Grishi hosted this. But yeah, and this this tournament, a lot of people were going to different. It requires perspective because if you launch at a different side of the stadium, you can get KO'd. That's what a lot of people were doing in this tournament because you have to race over to one side of the stadium to get the wall is in your favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is there's actually skill in Beyblade placement when playing against attack?
Yes.
Whoa! No way!
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a knockoff to the people that just think attack is so good because they can launch at a Beyblade in the center of the stadium when they're practicing.
Yeah. There was actually a kid at our regionals that he was a newer player, and he had guilty, and he came up and he won his first match like 3-0 or 3-1 or something like that. He was just smashing, but he came up the next time, he was on the opposite side of the stadium, and he kept self KOing. He wasn't understanding why, and I didn't tell him until after the match was over because I didn't want to like give him the hints or tips. He wasn't going against me or anything either, but that is the thing, man. It depends on where you're at and where you're launching, because he was launching the same way, but like, hey man, you're on the other side of the stadium in that pocket. It's right to your right where your Beyblade is going. So
Yeah.
he figured it out. How'd you view that tournament, Mike?
Well, okay, so that tournament was very special because I forgot my launchers.
Ooh.
And all I had with me was because I had brought just one of the Fusion DX set launchers because of the bearing in it and everything. I brought that just for specifically light launching my world combo. So then I was like, okay, cool. I get there, I start getting ready for my first match. I'm like, where's my launchers? Then I realize my box that has my launchers, I left it at home. And I'm like, great, I'm stuck using this launcher. Now, key thing with those launchers, they have a problem with them where they break easily.
Which one?
The Fusion DX launchers.
Oh,
They break super easy. Round 1 against my opponent. Launch my Beyblade. Okay, cool. The second battle, I launch and I can just hear it as my spring it just snaps. And I just see as the launcher cord is now just dangling there, and I'm like, great.
I think that was my match. I think I was versing you.
Did we play round 1?
Yeah, well,
I don't think we played round 1.
Well, one of my rounds, yours looked like it was dangling also, and you said I need to get a new one.
Yeah, that was after I fixed it because I think we played round 2. Because it was because I fixed it after round 1 and tried it and launched again, and then that's when it just broke, and then Garishi helped me out. So that was like the worst thing I've ever had happen at a tournament. My launcher just died on me. I actually think I figured out one of the quality control things that the Karatomi has done with them to where they break easier. I think when you put them together, where the string, like when you pull the string with the gear and you pull it all the way as hard as you can, I think they have it set up in a way where the string isn't like straight with the hole that it's coming out of. So then when you pull it, you have to pull it that extra like length in order for it to turn. And when you're just pulling hard, you don't realize it. So then it just makes the spring snap. So I've started, when I take them apart and I fix them, I started making sure now that the placement of the string is where it ends, like where it's coming out of the gear is lined up with the hole that the string comes out of the actual launcher. And I haven't had a problem since. So that's something new for anyone that wants to work on Beyblade launchers. To think about that when messing with them. But so yeah, Fireblader was my only loss in the first stage. Like he smorked me. And then I got my revenge though in finals. He had his triple drift deck, but my guilty was just like no.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you win that tournament?
Yeah, I won that tournament. I played Fireblader in the final.
Okay. So
He was actually the person I was scared of the most too. Like no lie, because he's the only person that I'm like, I don't think I've ever played against him, and I know he's a good player. So
yeah, that's what it. Shout out Garishi, thank you for hosting that one, man. I think I had to work that weekend. I got a lot of love for him. I remember his first tournament that he came to. It was the showdown in VA. I'm glad that he's an organizer now.
Yo, speaking of showdown in VA, we trying to do that again in July?
I'm down.
Well, July, I have my tournament already posted for Raleigh. But I would like to do another showdown in VA. Shoot, it could happen even if it didn't happen in July. It could happen with the new series. I think that would be really dope too.
Yo, August, let's do this.
Let's do it.
I'm trying to. Mike, do you have easy access to that questionnaire?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Did we have another question?
There was actually a question in there. There was 2 questions. I can't remember if there was one question from the Texas community, and it was a really good question. I need to find it.
Is that USN?
Yes.
First off, it says, first off, I just want to say I'm a really big fan of the podcast. I got into competitive Beyblade through TSO's podcast a couple years after it released. I listened to each of those episodes so many times. When I first found y'all, it brought me something new and exciting to listen to. Oh, thanks, USN. We appreciate that.
Solid. Thanks, bro. Or sis. Thank you.
How do y'all think content promoting tournaments, whether that be videos, podcasts, or articles, could increase the amount of players in the community? I have found that the tournament footage online is often uncut and unedited. However, I wonder if putting time into editing a video, overwhelming a tournament, overviewing, sorry, overviewing a tournament might be worthwhile. I think that DC's tournament reports are also great, but just don't reach enough people. Maybe on a later platform such as YouTube, tournament reports could be seen by more people and attract them to the WBO.
Yeah. I like that question that he had, because I was automatically got my wheels turning to the point that I was going to respond in there, but I'd rather respond here. Did you want to go first, Mike, or did you have any input, Fireblader? Or
Let's let Fireblader go first if he's got any input on that one.
Yeah.
So I like how it's uncut, and then I like how it's uncut, like how Frost on his YouTube channel, he does the videos first, and then he does the tournament reports, or how he talks about what
the battle analysis.
Yeah, tournament analysis. Yeah, and what they should have done, and like how they could have won that. And then he has like the slow-mo.
Okay, so you like the more competitive aspect of like, is it actually seeing the whole tournament report, like the whole battle scenario that you like, or is it the tournament analysis that Frost does that you like more?
I kind of like both. Oh, I kind of like both. Yeah. I like both.
Okay, I'm guessing the way you think about it's probably the way that I would do it when I would watch Frost videos, because he'd always do the regular battles first and then the battle analysis. I would watch the regular battle and I would think to myself, okay, this is what I would have done here. This is what I think should have been done. And then you listen to Frost analysis and kind of see if it lines up with what you were thinking.
Yeah.
So as much as I love competitive play, though, I think in order to reach out to more people within the community, I think like edited footages with like special effects would actually really pay off.
Yeah.
I think that stuff would really pay off. You see a lot of like Instagram posts from like JC Makenburst with them and whatnot. And he gets a lot of views.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this much here: taking the time to edit it, that's a lot of time. I mean, people don't realize it, but to be like a YouTuber, like an actual YouTuber where you have like edited videos, you either need to pay somebody to do the editing, or it needs to be your full-time job that's making you money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the problem, is there's not enough following right now where you could be like, hey, we're going to be a full-time Beyblade YouTuber. I mean, Zanky and Beyblade Geeks are probably like the only ones that I know that have been able to do it. And even then, I'm pretty sure Zanky's still going to college and doing school stuff, and then is gonna probably end up having like a real job when he's older.
Yeah. When I read that question, I saw it more on the competitive aspect, and I could be wrong as far as us explaining what's going on, because sometimes when we do the analysis, like with Frost video, would take that back into consideration. He'll go back and he'll do the analysis, but it's reflective off of a competitive viewpoint. But for people who are getting into competitive Beyblade, they may not understand, I guess, the mechanics of like spin stealing or equalization. And if we were to talk about like those aspects, or even the aspect when we talked about like launching a attack style Beyblade, like if it's left, it's going to go to the right.
Right.
And if it's right spinning, it's going to go to the left. So you want to make sure that you position your pocket in a certain way. I think with that, with competitions, if we explain some of those things that some of us just know, it may help in the sense of, so people, when they go to these Beyblade videos, because a lot of parents, and I would say it's mainly just parents or more adults, when they see us playing Beyblade, they don't really understand the science behind the game. They just think it's more just spinning tops, and sometimes you're just doing it for free. And you can show them a little tips and tricks and combos, but sometimes they look at it as pay to win. Like, what Beyblade do I have to buy to be able to beat all these others? And it's not like that. It's
No, it's
yeah,
definitely not pay to win. I mean,
yeah. It's
like
putting
you,
the
like if you spent money on metal bearing drift right now, you could definitely have a bigger advantage, but it's definitely not pay to win. Because
yeah,
like if I owned a metal bearing drift, I could go into a tournament that's like 3-on-3 and have wind illegal BDR and dynamite over metal BDR, and that's going to be really strong. And then plus like guilty, like bro,
yeah.
it's that would just actually be really good.
100, yeah, 100%. And I think when if people like have that mindset on it and they don't understand like the building of combos and even how you're launching it and where you're launching it, they may not understand the whole concept of the game. And I think that's what USN was trying to get at. And I'll be honest, I don't, and I agree with you, Mike, on this. Like, I don't have the time to do it. Like, even when we're doing these podcasts, like I kind of put them up there raw and unedited. I like clip off a little bit of the beginning that's dry, clip off a little bit at the end. But I'm
Yeah,
not through and sectionalizing each point because once I have it, I usually upload it because like I'm at work right now. Once we're done with this, I'm gonna get into bed and relax. Um, and it does take time. But for those who do have time, if you're recording the battles, I do think it could definitely help to explain like, hey, this is the combo that this person has. They're using this specific weight because it's heavier on this, or it works better with this style of Beyblade. And these are the predictions that I have on what's going to happen. Kind of like a live stream, and you had analyzers for football or something like that. People running plays, and they'll be like, "Okay, keep your eye on so and so because this is what's going to happen." And they're like, "Okay, so this dude has a left spinning Beyblade on he has a left spinning world on drift versus whatever right spin and this and that is like it's more likely going to equalize and you're going to see the left spin world come out on top. And I guess talking about that and people saying like, man, how did he predict that? How did he know? And you could see that you can see those results and that might show a little bit more insight on how this game truly is competitive.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how I see it. I also Yeah, I wanted to shout because it made me think. Sometimes I will get parents that'll come up and they'll be like, "What Beyblade can I buy for my child to win?" And I'm like, there is no unless you're willing to spend freaking like $100, $200 right now. You're not gonna buy a single combo. I always point them to Guilty or Endurance Sparking. I point them to Rage because I'm like, hey, expect for your child just to have fun because you're coming to this tournament and you may think like, yeah, it's just spinning tops, but guaranteed most of the people that are making top 8 have spent hours upon hours on testing and they're put the perfect combos together that they can get. And that's, you know, probably $100 within to their deck. Like if you think about it, like just name a top combo, right? Like
Win BDR.
when like BDR, you get that out of the it's the DX set, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get
So that's already like $70.
that's $70 right there. Wind, you're getting that out of the random booster. If you have the prize bay, that's at least $40. Or if you're getting the red one, which most people have, that's still about 20, $25. So that's near $100 right there. And then depending on the weight that they're getting, because I don't think anybody uses the standard weight that it comes with. I
Right.
mean, the armor and what's the disc that most people are using with that?
Illegal. So you're either buying Zest Achilles or you're buying Barricade Lucifer to get it.
Yeah. So Barricade Lucifer, which will be the cheaper route, you spend about 20, $25. But if you're getting Zest to do that, Zest came with that was out of the
That was the set that came with the Metal Never chain um Chain Phoenix and stuff like that.
that's like a $50 set, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
And the thing is too is technically the illegals that came out of that set are actually a different mold and they weigh more.
Yeah.
So
So to get that, essentially you're spending no less than $150 to be able to build that. And that's one combo. That's not mentioning the other two combos that you would have in deck. Because just to even build the top part of Dynamite with F gear, to get the gear, you have to buy 2 different Beyblades. You got to buy Dynamite, and then you got to buy Vanish. You know, and that's another $40 to $50. So I'm not gonna tell like, or I don't explain all that because I don't want to scare anyone off. Especially like they're coming, and plus, to be real, even though I have the store, I don't want someone to come and spend like $200 to try to get their child to win, because it's like, guess what? Even if your child has the exact same combo as the person that wins this tournament, your child may not know how to use those Beyblades. That's just the reality of it. They may launch in the wrong spot. They may not know how to launch. The person going against them may have a stronger launch strength, or they may have a steadier launch versus your child. When they launch it into the stadium, it just bounces and hits all the walls and loses a lot of stamina. So there's no point in that. Like, the best thing to do is to see if you like the game. Go ahead and get one of those $20 to $30 guilties or rage and this and that. Go have fun. I guarantee if you're playing single bay or something like that, you're gonna win a couple of matches or a couple of battles, especially you go against someone with Hasbro. You get hooked on the game, and then you can learn a little bit more about the skills and tactics and go from there. I do not recommend going to your first tournament or getting into the game spending two, $300 on Beyblade parts. You get there and then you only win one match, and you're like, you felt like you wasted your money. I don't see. That's not something that I am game for. And I've had some parents get mad because they'll spend like $30 on a guilty, or 20 to $30 on a guilty or whatever. And
why didn't my kid win?
Yeah, and they're like, why do you win? It's like, I get it. That is the best stock combo out right now, like just straight up and coming and playing. But it's not gonna beat the time and the effort that some of these other players have put in. And that's just the reality of it. Like, you will if anybody else, more times than not, you are guaranteed to win. But as you continue on in the tournament, and especially if you get the finals, that stock guilty is not going to win you the entirety of this tournament. And I'd rather you leave spending just $30 and or $30 at the most, and having this Beyblade, than for you to try to buy everything under the sun, and then you go 1-5 the whole day, and you're like, this was the worst experience ever. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, luckily most kids show up and they only have Hasbro stuff, and most like little kids are happy to play with whatever they have.
That's what I'm on. I'm just like, shoot, if you don't have to buy, just see if your kid likes this, and see if you enjoy even having them around here. Because if you don't ever want to come back, there's no point in you even trying to get something.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I have for that. But I do think it was a good question. It is something that YouTubers or anyone that's recording, that we can all talk about. And if I don't really, I kind of like just doing a podcast now just to talk, because I did not like editing videos. I don't have the time. I used to be like, oh, I'm lazy, but I kind of have like 4 or 5 jobs. I got 4 kids too, so I'm kind of busy. But yeah, I would think that would shed some light. I think there was another question, and I think when I read it, I think it was like, who's your favorite anime character or something like that. Do you got it up, Mike? Mike?
1 second, buddy.
Okay, my bad. You still with us, Fireblader?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, that's what I have for that. Yeah, I thought about that with some of Frost's videos. Oh, there is a good example with in Florida when they had, I can't remember the name of the tournament, but if you can find it, it's actually on one of our podcast episodes in the description, one of the old ones. They had a big tournament. I think it was hosted by Joyos, um, an old WBO organizer, and they had commentators on the side talking about the different Beyblades and what the competitors were using when they would come up to battle, and the performance of them. Having things like that really shows the strategy, and to be able to explain how Beyblade's mechanic is going to work before it even leaves the launcher shows that there's some skill with it.
Sorry, I'm back.
No, you're good.
Anyway, so my brain flat out on me. What was it we were talking about?
Oh, now we're getting on to the second question. I think we beat the first one pretty good.
Okay. So this is the
I think it was who's your favorite anime or
Oh, Mr. Pokey. If every member of the WBO were an anime character, who would they be? Pokey's
oh
a meme. He's from the local. He's just being a meme. Pokey, here's the real answer. Everyone's background character number 4. Okay. Okay. But you, Pokey, your background character 93. So you just lose on the first round.
I
It's
got love.
okay, buddy.
I got love for you, Mr. Pokey. You always watch all our you listen to all our shows and comment. I do appreciate you. Mike knows you better than me, so I don't know if you're memeing or real. But yeah, but I can tell you that would be so tough. Like I don't even know everybody in the WBO.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's look at the rankings, and we'll do like the top. Let's do like the top 10.
Yeah, I don't even know all those guys.
Neither do I.
Yeah, you want to start with? I don't. Is Justin TC? Is he an attack styler blader or not?
I don't know. He's from Canada.
Yeah, I think top 3 are in Canada. Only one I have had dealings with is K and Hin Wuja when he was processing tournaments.
Right.
So you want to start with K?
Sure.
Dude, I feel like it's gonna be controversial. It's like what character is K? I don't know. I imagine that he wanted to be K from the first generation. Or Kai from KAI from the first generation. I don't know who he would necessarily be from the anime.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so if I was going to give any of them because they're number 1, 2, and 3, I would give them like the protagonist of each generation. So, and in order of who I think would be the best, like I think when it comes down to like basic skill of the actual game, I think Vault is actually like the most skilled blader because he actually plays in a realistic setting when the other 2 are fantasy. So
excuse me. You mean with MFB and plastic? You thought was more?
it's more fantasy element because how many times do they battle in something that's not a stadium?
Yeah, that's big facts. Yeah, MFB they were battling them like in the mountains and stuff.
And same thing in Plastic Gen, but I would at least give them all like the main protagonists from each of them. So Justin TC could be Vault. K, he could probably be. I would say Tyson is probably better than Jenga in my opinion.
Okay.
And then I would say Henwuja would be Jenga.
Okay.
We can skip that asshole Crisis Crusher.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What'd you say? No, you good. I thought you were gonna put yourself as Iger.
No, I'm not gonna put myself as anything. I don't. I have no clue, buddy. I wouldn't put myself as anything.
Is Old School active? No. Their last tournament was in
No.
21.
CSC Raymond, my man can be like Kai or Ryuga or something. Not gonna lie.
I can't have Ryuga. I don't want anybody to have Ryuga. I don't know this, but I do see CSC Raymond. I can see him as I don't know if this would be an insult or not, but this is like my second favorite blader. Is
Kiyoya?
No, Free.
Oh, Free De
Yeah.
La Hoya.
Free is pretty dope, man. And I think he doesn't. Of course, he didn't get as much on just because of Volt. But like when they introduced him, like Free was my favorite character until I like went back to MFB and really got into Ryuga. But Free is like he's dope, bro. I mean, he was the world champion at one point.
Free is my second favorite character.
Yeah,
from the Burst series.
Yeah. He's like laid back. He's not like cocky or anything like that. And he could play like really well. Let's see who we got. Ardmore. You know him better than me.
Ardmore with the way he is, I mean, I'd probably have to put him as Kai because he's kind of a quiet guy.
Yeah.
I don't know Blade or Beast.
I don't know either.
I don't know 1, 2, 3, 4 Beyblade. All right, and then there's Shindog. Shindog's funny. I like Shindog.
Shindog. Who would Shindog be? I was thinking like Shu is definitely a big compliment. I was even thinking Shu for CSC. Shindog would be.
Yeah, let's give him Shu. I can give him Shu.
You would give him Shu?
Yeah, I can give him Shu.
Yeah, Shindog. Yeah, yeah. You know what? Because like Shu. Yeah, Shu. He started off. I know when he was Red Eye, he had his struggles and his bad side, but he has grown to be like more of a mentor.
Yeah, Shu also owns the Raging Bulls now, so he runs a corporation in a sense. So,
He's
and
a big,
I know Shindog is like the owner of a corporation or something. He owns his own business.
yeah. He's the big man on campus. Um, and yeah, he does have that. He definitely has that mentor style and personality for a lot of us getting into the WBO. A lot of us getting into Beyblade in general. Um, yeah, I think that actually was a pretty fun question to entertain.
Yeah, there you go, Pokey.
Yeah, and that's what we got. I gotta ask though, like who would y'all see for yourselves? You wouldn't. I know you would choose Iger Mike. I just know you love him. That's your favorite character, right?
I mean, he's my favorite character from the Burst generation.
What about the other ones?
The other ones, I mean, Kai's my favorite from Plastics, and Kiyoya is my favorite from Metal.
Kiyoya was he's the little blonde haired kid, right?
No, Kiyoya has Rock Leone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's that guy.
He's a rival.
Yeah,
Well, Danga
the
had like
first rival.
but yeah, yeah. All right. What about you, Fireblade? You got a character you would
I would
uh
I would choose either Shu, Free, or Daigo.
Daigo was cool.
oh, shout out to Daigo. Um I do love Ryuga. I don't feel like I'm nearly to that skill level. But one of the things that I like about Ryuga is that I never saw him trying to be like the world's best. He was just a G when he played. And that is something I aspire to. I'm not trying to be number one. I'm not trying to be like the world's best. I just want to be able to, I guess, get better and play better and just be like, just battle.
You want people to know your name.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you walk into a room, it's like, oh yeah, that's him. Um, and then that would be from my Metal Fight series. From the first series, I liked Kai. I would say that he was just like very chill and laid back. And from Burst, it's gonna be Free. Um, one thing, yeah, Free.
If y'all ever watched a sub of Burst with Free in it when they always say his name like the announcer?
Did he say it like the
The,
boxer?
the announcers are always like Free de la yeah. And I just lose it every time I've ever watched that.
No, I haven't watched I haven't watched it with that, but
Watching Burst stuff in dub or in sub is pretty funny.
yeah. I know in with Metal Fight and Sub, they were it was pretty that was another thing that made me like Ryuga. He was I know we got kids listening, but he was very direct with his words. He was like
Yeah, he was rude.
yeah,
Let's put it that way.
said quite some mean things about Jenga's dad, other bladers. Like he was straight up like, no, you're yeah. He was using some pretty direct language. I respect them for that. He started off as a G and he maintained his gangsterness all the way up until he I won't say he died. He just went away. You know.
In the manga, he didn't die.
He didn't.
No, not in the manga.
I gotta read it. Don't tell me. I need to see what it is. But yeah, Free's my dude in Burst. You know, somebody else I like in Burst was Louis. You know, Louis don't. I think he might not get a lot of love, but he was a wild little something. I know that's crazy to say, like, because Free and Louis' personalities were night and day, but Louis was he was something else.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
All right, y'all. Fireblade, do you have any questions for us or anything else you wanted to hit on before we cut out?
Mm,
You got any shout outs?
no. Well, I have a question for you. How do you? Well, no, I don't have any questions. I'm good.
He's got one in there, but he doesn't know how to word it. That's what it sounded like to me.
What is it on, or what is it relating to if you don't know how to word it?
How do you feel like there's going to be multiple releases in the first part of Beyblade X?
I love it. I think it needs to be done. Like typically every generation, they always do it. It's not this many, but they'll usually have like either a random booster set, a stadium set, and like a starter. But now they have the 4 starters, like Mike said, more than likely attack, balance, stamina, defense. Um, I think we definitely need that so that we can all experiment to see how balanced the game is. Um, we'll get in the stadium, new launchers. I think it's perfect because it'll get us quickly up to speed on at least like how the play style is. Because I think within the first month, if you get a buddy and you get all the releases, y'all should be able to see how balanced it initially is. Granted, they may give some releases in the future that throw everything off, but we'll get a good taste of how the game will be off of the first month.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I mean, we kind of need it, especially like if they start right off the bat with like a 5G or 3G format. Like
Mhm.
you're gonna need to be able to have multiple bays at once.
Yeah. I want to say this too now as you brought that up. Um, dear community, do not get upset. And I'm not just saying this for me, I'm talking about for all the stores. So I'm looking out for all the stores right now. As hype as Burst was, and as hype as I see Beyblade being, and Takara Tomy going global, Takara Tomy has always had an issue with their initial batch of Beyblades not having enough. That's why, like the sister company, Manly Limited, if you look at a lot of the back of your Beyblade boxes, you'll see that sticker. It's because they typically make the reproductions or they make more of them. This is all to say, like, if you if it takes a while for you to get your Beyblade that you pre-ordered or whatever, um, the demand is going to be insane. I imagine that it will be from new players, from the traditional players, and this and that. So, um, please don't get upset with your local stores, no matter where you buy it from. We are all doing the best we can. We're gonna get you your Beyblades as soon as we can. Um, but I imagine that first batch selling out like that. All right, so try to pre-order as you can and know what you're getting. And yeah, go from there. Because yeah, yeah, I think I've said enough on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. That is that, and yeah. So thank you. I did want to say, nah, that was it. Thank you all for thank you all for listening. Um, thank you all for the continued support. Like and subscribe. I probably should say that in the beginning. I don't like I don't like selling myself, even with this YouTube stuff. That's why I don't really say it. But the likes on the videos and the subscription will help the channel grow, to help spread Beyblade awareness for the competitive scene and the podcast and all that. So if you can, please like and subscribe, share the video. Everything helps. Continue to get out there, keep playing hard with your community, get to know your locals, stay consistent. I'm using that advice for myself as far as with my locals, and have fun. Good luck to you both in Dark Horseman, and
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, and y'all see Mike down there. You see Fireblader. Give them some encouragement, shout them out, get an autograph. Y'all are famous. um, and yeah, all right. And with that, everyone, take care.
Bye.
Bye.